Okay, let's dive in. WWE Raw, May 19th, 2025. Wow, sounds like things were pretty explosive.
Yeah, definitely felt like a powder keg waiting to go off.
Yeah.
Based on the Wrestling Inc. report we looked at. So much drama.
Absolutely. So, if you miss the action, or maybe you just need a quick way to get up to speed before you chat wrestling with your friends, you are definitely in the right place.
We've basically gone through everything, all the matches, the, backstage stuff, the main event, chaos.
And we're here to pull out the really important bits. Our mission for this deep dive, give you the clarity on what actually happened and why it matters going forward.
And what really stands out, I think, is how interconnected everything felt. It wasn't just separate matches. Storylines were crashing into each other, past grudges bubbling up.
Totally. Especially in that World Heavyweight Championship scene.
Yeah.
You've got Jey Uso. He's got the title defense against Logan Paul coming up at Saturday night's main event.
Looming large, yeah.
But this Raw seemed almost designed to just throw wrenches into the works. Adam Pearce, the GM, even hinted Logan Paul was actually in Greenville that night.
That's interesting. Suggests Paul isn't just sitting back, maybe doing some scouting.
Or looking to stir the pot even before Saturday. And then you've got Gunther.
Ah, yes, Gunther.
Yeah.
Laser focused. He wants that rematch with Jey, the guy who took his title after that historic reign.
We saw them face off verbally last week, and then didn't Bron Breakker attack Jey backstage right after?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you've got that simmering tension, and Breakker just injects himself right into it. Feels like a collision course, like you said.
It really does. And Gina, it's more than just the belt, isn't it? It's pride. It's reclaiming that dominance he had.
Definitely. And Breakker sees an opening, maybe thinks he can leapfrog everyone else involved. That youthful ambition,
Well, Logan Paul certainly wasn't trying to smooth things over when he came out to the ring.
Oh, never. He was pure confidence, maybe arrogance. Predicting he'd win, taking shots at Jandy. Standard Logan Paul.
Right. But then Gunther interrupts, and that really changed the dynamic, didn't it?
It did. He basically put Paul on notice, told him, if you want this title, you need to prove you can beat the man I couldn't beat, essentially.
Yeah, like Gunther's setting himself up as the ultimate gatekeeper for that championship.
Exactly. He's saying the path to the top still runs through me, even without the belt. It's a power play.
And Jen's response, pretty direct.
Super kick. Out of nowhere, right to Paul.
Yep. And then he made it clear. Paul on Saturday, Gunther in Phoenix at Money in the Bank, message sent.
That was important. Amidst all the talk, all the attacks, Jin physically reminded everyone who the champ is right now. Set an aggressive tone.
Which led straight into the main event. Jey Uso versus Bron Breakker. Non-title, but still huge.
And it was intense, hard-hitting. Jen showed that fire early on, but Breakker's power.
Yeah.
It's undeniable.
Things stilled outside, a chair got involved. It wasn't just a wrestling match.
No, it felt like a fight. Breakker trying to prove he belongs at that level, using anything he could. That non-title stip probably helped fuel the aggression, too.
But then just as things were reaching a peak, Seth Rollins runs in.
Total curveball. Attacks Jey, causes the DQ.
And then all hell broke loose, basically. Sami Zayn runs down. CM Punk is out there, too, trying to help Jey.
It turned into a massive brawl.
Yeah.
Spilling into the crowd, security trying to break it up.
And just as the show's going off the air, Logan Paul gets one last shot in, a punch to Jey.
Wild ending. It keeps everyone guessing, right? Rollins, what's his play? Is he after the title? Or something else? And Paul just being the ultimate opportunist.
So, yeah, if you're tracking the World Heavyweight title, this Raw added like 3 or 4 new layers of complexity. It's not just Jey versus Paul anymore.
Not at all. You've got Gunther waiting, Breakker making noise. Rollins is back in the picture, apparently. Zayn and Punk involved. It's a mess, and a good way for storytelling.
Makes the whole scene way more unpredictable, heading towards Money in the Bank and beyond. Who even is the next top contender after Saturday?
Good question. Anyone's guess right now.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Women's Money in the Bank qualifiers were also happening. Alexa Bliss already got her spot on SmackDown.
Right, so Raw needed to start filling its side of the ladder match. 2 triple threats lined up.
First one, Roxanne Perez versus Natalya versus Becky Lynch. And this felt like a mini epic in itself.
It really did. You had that brief alliance talk at the start, which never lasts.
Nope. Then lots of back and forth submission attempts, the disarm her, the sharpshooter. Becky even hit that dive to the outside.
But the finish, that was the big talker. Becky hits the manhandle slam on Natty. Looks like she's got it won.
And then Lyra Valkyria interferes, pulls Becky off the cover.
Which allowed Perez to sneak in, hit Pop Rocks, and steal the win. Huge moment for her.
Especially since she officially signed her Raw contract earlier that night, too. Talk about making an immediate impact.
Massive night for Roxanne Perez. But that Valkyria interference, that adds a personal issue now between her and Becky, heading towards the ladder match maybe. Or just a separate feud.
Yeah, lots of possibilities there. Perez qualifying, Valkyria making a statement. Big implications.
Definitely elevates Perez instantly on the Raw roster.
Okay, second qualifier. Kairi-san, Zoe Stark, and Rhea Ripley.
And this one had some drama too, though maybe not the kind they wanted.
Right. Stark seemed to be targeting Sane early, but then she went down with what looked like a knee injury.
Yeah, she had to be helped to the back. You hate to see that. Hopefully it's not too severe.
Absolutely. But with Stark out, it became more of a one-on-one situation for a bit.
And Rhea Ripley just asserted her power, eventually hitting the Riptide for the win.
Pretty decisive victory for Rhea, and it was good to see Kairi Sane back in action too. First match since December, I think.
Yeah, great to have her back on the roster. Even in a loss here, her presence adds a lot to the division. But Rhea looks dominant as ever qualifying like that.
So now you've got Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, and Rhea Ripley confirmed for the women's Money in the Bank match. That's quite a mix.
It really is. You've got the experience and cunning of Bliss, the speed and hunger of Perez, and the sheer power of Ripley. Makes for a very interesting dynamic in that ladder match.
Strategy is going to be key there. Alliances probably won't last long.
Not Money in the Bank, no. Every woman for herself when that briefcase is hanging up there.
Okay, what else stood out on the show? We had Penta teaming with AJ Styles. First time ever, right?
Yeah, against Judgment Day, Finn Balor, and JD McDonough with Carlito ringside. Naturally.
Fun match, stylistically. Penta's high-flying, AJ's technical work.
But Judgment Day did what Judgment Day does. Interference from Carlito.
And then this, El Grande Americano.
Yeah.
Who just appeared out of the crowd.
Yeah. Hit Styles with a headbutt. Totally unexpected. That distraction allowed Balor to hit the coup de grace on Penta for the pin.
So the big question is, who is El Grande Americano?
Exactly. Total mystery. New player. Someone in disguise. Adds a whole new wrinkle to that Styles versus Judgment Day feud. Very intriguing.
Definitely something to watch. Then we had Sheamus taking on Grayson Waller.
With Austin Theory in Waller's corner, of course. A town down under trying to cause trouble.
Waller tried his usual tactics, stick and move, avoid the power.
But Sheamus is just relentless. He weathered the interference attempts.
Got those 10 beats of the Bodran going. Crowd loved it.
And then finished it with the bro kick. Classic Sheamus win. Shows he's still a force to be reckoned with.
We also heard briefly from the New Day.
Right, just sort of mentioning they're having trouble finding worthy challengers for the World Tag Team titles.
Sounds like throwing down the gauntlet to the rest of the tag division, doesn't it?
Pretty much, putting a target on their own backs, maybe trying to spark some new rivalries, see who steps up.
And one last thing. That backstage bit with Judgment Day and Roxanne Perez.
Oh yeah, that was slightly awkward.
Perez trying to be nice, offering chicken nuggets and an apple.
Which didn't go over well with Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah.
She's pretty annoyed mentioned Liv Morgan would hear about it.
Suggests some tension there, maybe around Liv Morgan's ongoing issues with Judgment Day and Raquel being protective.
Could be. Or maybe just general suspicion in the locker room. Adds a little bit of backstage intrigue to the women's division dynamics.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this all up. Time for the Ripperly summary.
Let's do it.
All right, Ripperly for Raw, May 19th. A seriously packed show. The World Heavyweight title picture got way more complicated. Jey Uso has Logan Paul on Saturday, but GUNTHER made his intentions clear for Money in the Bank.
Plus, Braun Breaker is still in the mix. And then Seth Rollins interfered in the main event, leading to a huge brawl with Sami Zayn and CM Punk getting involved. And Logan Paul got the last punch in. Chaos.
In the women's Money in the Bank qualifiers, Roxanne Perez got a huge win, albeit with help from Lyra Valkyria interfering against Becky Lynch.
And Rhea Ripley powered her way to victory over Kairi Sane and Zoe Stark, though Stark unfortunately got injured. So Perez and Ripley join Alexa Bliss in the ladder match.
Elsewhere, Judgment Day beat Penta and AJ Styles, thanks partly to the mysterious El Grande Americano.
Sheamus defeated Grayson Waller despite interference. The New Day called out the tag division, and Roxanne Perez had that kind of weird backstage interaction with Judgment Day and Raquel Rodriguez.
Phew. That covers most of the big stuff, I think. Feels like everything is pointing towards Saturday night's main event, and especially Money in the Bank.
Yeah, this episode really cranked up the heat. Lots of moving parts, lots of potential clashes coming up. They did a good job building anticipation across the board.
So this deep dive hopefully gave you that shortcut, that quick understanding of everything significant from this episode of Raw.
Got you caught up and ready for what's next.
And as you think about what is next, especially with Saturday night's main event and Money in the Bank on the horizon, here's something to chew on. With all these egos, ambitions, and rivalries swirling around, particularly in that world heavyweight title scene, what kind of unexpected alliance or maybe shocking betrayal could we realistically see when the pressure really ramps up?
Good question to ponder. The possibilities feel wide open right now.
That was Ripperly. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment.